Yes, DJ.
Welcome back to my channel. As always, I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. So, what are the requirements for a driver to be considered healthy for the road? What about drivers with diabetes like me? And what about other things that can happen to you while you're out there? Does anybody check for those or anything? Well, in this episode of Truckin' It, you're about to find out because today I'm gonna walk you through the DOT physical. So let's check the blood pressure and let's get started. So, I'm going to begin with the common problem. A lot of drivers on the road go years without being diagnosed with anything. I was that classic case all the way up until August 26, 2016. I felt myself getting sicker in the weeks and months before. But little did I know that I had something majorly wrong with my system. And all it took was one trip to the hospital, just one, to find out. And I plan on sharing this info with you so that you don't end up in the situation I was in. Let's talk the physical first. The physical involves once in a fortnight, typically once every 2 years, going to a specialist called a DOT doc here in the country of the United States of America, but in other countries they may be called names like, well, and recently the US just changed it too, certified medical examiner, or perhaps driver doctor, something like that. It's typically an MD with a specialist certification in dealing with truck drivers. So, let's get started on that process. They're going to check your vital signs, your temperature, your blood pressure, your overall health history. And then they're going to do a series of tests on you to confirm whether or not you're fit to continue driving. Now, these tests may include a hernia check, vision screening, little ASMR caused by a 10-foot whisper. Yes, a 10-foot whisper, which you may not or may have heard over my computer fans and white noise generator and such. And even tests on the urine for diabetes. Now, though they can confirm whether or not you have it, but they can't confirm anything more. So, now the limitations of this test are pretty clear. It's not used for diagnosing conditions, it's just used to renew a medical exam. But if the doctor suspects you have something, he can shorten your physical to 1 year, maybe even 3 months, depending on what type of condition it is. He can order additional screenings. So therefore, you've got to talk with your primary care doctor about those. And 3, if you don't have a primary care doctor, he may even send you to one. And I'm referring to he, but it can also be a she. It can also be a girl. So don't fret if you're of the female gender and thinking, oh, this is only for males. No, it's for everybody in this industry. Now, the DOT requirements are, number 1, you cannot have diabetes unless it's been properly diagnosed and you've been treated for it. Which means if it's uncontrolled, they're going to send you to a doctor and give you a shorter physical or no physical at all. So, they really are serious about this. If you have diabetes like me, your A1C must be under 8. And the driver has to carry documentation of that, which I'm going to be going to the doctor later today and getting. Blood pressure. It's got to be under 130/80. That's the new criteria for hypertension, or high blood pressure as it's more commonly referred to. So now with updated guidelines and such, I urge you to really consider your diet as part of your lifestyle for trucking. Going to those fast food places that the Pilots, the Flying J's, and the Loves offer is recipe for disaster if you do not know how to do things like low carb eating and perhaps even low fat, low cholesterol as well. And number 4, if you're on any medication, you're going to need a long list of every single thing you take, both prescription and over the counter. So, for instance, I know that I occasionally have to take Tylenol Sinus for my allergies. That's got to be documented. I take Flonase for my allergies. That's got to be documented. I take a few diabetes control medicines. Those all have to be documented. And when I say a few, I mean some stuff in addition to metformin. Specifically Ozempic. But that's a once weekly injection that I got to do on myself. If you got any multivitamins, they may ask you to take, like for instance, Centrum Chewables or Centrum Silver. Got to document that now too. They want to know everything at these physicals nowadays. So, now, is it possible to fail a physical? Absolutely. Because if you have undiagnosed heart disease or high cholesterol or something like that, and you haven't even found out about it because you haven't been to the doctor in a couple years, it is very possible to fail a physical. Also, if conditions like neuropathy start happening, that's a red flag to the doctors as well. So trim those fingernails and make sure that you're keeping your hands clean. Now, one last thing. There's no need to be scared about a physical, because it might be telling you what you already know. And even if you don't know it, it's going to get you diagnosed and get you onto a primary care doctor who can do a full medical exam, like what I'm about to go through this morning, where we can take steps to treat conditions, where we can talk with them about anything that is not DOT related, and where we can get advice on things like diet, exercise, and way more than you possibly need to know. So let's pass that physical and let's get on the road to healthy and safe driving. My rodeo episode's going to be coming up this afternoon, and I should expect to have a different mic system by then because Amazon's going to be delivering it today. So let's make your best trip your next trip, and let's keep you on the road. Bye for now.